and I just fell on that mattress and I slept for a month. I didn't go to school. I was knocked out with a really heavy depression. And before that, I was a super happy, optimistic person, and I didn't even know what is depression. I thought it's people being sad, but it's not sadness at all. Depression is just to feel nothing, to feel absolutely numb, as if there's just a gray veil over your whole life.
Hello and welcome to the Go Encourage podcast, where I talk to real people about real life, trying to gain some insights from their experiences building courage. Before we get started, I just want to encourage you to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. It really helps the channel grow and it helps me to bring more guests onto the podcast. You can also do the same on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Amazon with a like and a follow. And if you're looking for links to social media channels, you can find them at www.goencourage.com. You can also grab a copy of the Courage Journal, which is a 31-day prompted journal designed to help you build courage in your life. All right, with all that said, let's bring on my next guest and let's see where the conversation goes. I'm really excited today to be joined by Jean. Hey Jean, how you doing?
Hello, doing amazing. And you?
I'm doing really well, thank you. For people who have tuned in, I just want to let them know that Jean is a holistic practitioner based in Bali. So hello, Bali.
Hello back. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, an absolute pleasure. And I think what's really interesting is I've had your best friend on here as well, Jules. So yeah, really cool to have you both on.
Yes, let me know after. What do you think about our differences?
Yeah, let's see what the listeners come back with. Should we create a little competition? Who was the better guest? So you have to watch both episodes to figure it out.
Oh, Julia is so good at this talking stuff. I think she already won.
Well, let's see where we go, right? Because it's your...
That's why she was first. I'm like,
right.
you do this. I'll do the IT stuff.
Yeah, because she's kind of like a little bit, it's her words, not mine, but she's like IT cursed, apparently.
Yeah, she is. And she actually acts like a boomer. At this point, I have to like explain to her how she has to like use her phone and some social media stuff. It's hilarious. Or I have to explain to her like some TikTok words of Generation Z.
Right. Okay. So she's lucky to have you, right?
Yes, we're both lucky to have each other.
You balance each other. So she's the communicator, are you saying? And then you're the IT.
It depends. So she always says I'm more of a social butterfly, but I personally don't think so. But when it comes to like having these conversations with people like professionally, like going on a podcast and all that, then she's really, really good at this. And I'm more of like the social environment on a party to kind of like network.
Right. Oh, that's a good combination then.
Yeah, as I said, we really complement each other.
And I think you're being slightly unfair on yourself. I've seen some of your stuff. It's really good. You're a great communicator.
Thank you. I'm trying.
So it's a tradition on the podcast to ask people if they know what their name means as the first question. So question 1, Jean, do you know what your name means?
Yes. So as I said before, my name is Janine, and Jean is just my nickname. But Jean actually comes from Janine, or in Germany, I think it comes from the name Johanna. And it actually means, Janine means in Arabic and also Indonesian, baby, but the baby in the belly. So fetus, basically. And when it comes to like the deeper meaning of the word, where it comes from, Janine comes from, or means God has mercy, which I don't resonate so much with. I'd rather be a fetus.
You'd rather be a fetus?
Yes.
Wow. That's like, I'm hearing like untapped potential with that as well, right? Early stages. Incredible. Okay. I had a little look up as well. And what I found was that If you look at the French and Hebrew origin, it means God is gracious, which is similar to what you said there. And specifically, Yahweh is gracious. So the idea of I am that I am being a place of grace. So that's quite interesting as well.
Yeah, I take that.
Yeah, you take it. And given that you're a holistic practitioner right now who is leading people into states of healing and retreats and things like that, I quite like the link from your name. That's quite cool.
Yeah, true. That's kind of fitting.
And then the other thing, I think, just while we were setting up, we were talking a little bit about star signs, right? So we're both the same star sign. We almost share the same birthday as well. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. We were talking a little bit about human design there. That's something that you're into.
Yeah, and we're also both a manifesting generator.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. What would you say is like something that comes to mind when you think of that? Like, I don't know enough about it.
I also don't know a lot about human design, but I think manifesting generators are people that can kind of balance both the manifesting part and also the generating part in terms of manifesting something into your life, but then also executing it and getting it. And yeah, just a good combination of those two, just like go-getters.
Yeah, making things happen. I like that.
Yes. And also starting things, especially starting things. And I think generators are better at kind of developing the thing further down the line. And manifesting generators are really good at like starting different things and just like the initial spark.
Yeah, definitely resonate with that.
Me too.
I have to work a little bit on the generating bit in terms of getting things done. So, I mean, you can't see on the other side of this camera, but there's a huge, massive whiteboard, and it's just got lots of like different steps. What's next in this project, this project, this project. So, yeah, it kind of helps me moving forward.
Same. Just for me, it's not a whiteboard; it's just a little notebook.
Little notebook, yeah. I have a lot of those as well. But I'm trying to be a bit more visual nowadays and go, if it's not
Good
in front
idea.
of me, I'm not going to get it done.
Yeah, good idea, actually.
What would you say is your favorite food?
Pasta.
Pasta. Okay. All right. Any particular type?
Oh yeah, definitely everything with tomato sauce. Don't give me white stuff. I don't like white sauce.
Well, you don't like a nice creamy garlic mushroom? No. Interesting.
I need tomato.
Do you like green pesto?
It needs to be red.
I agree. I can't stand it. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it's weird. Why would
It's-
it be green?
Are you known for being early, on time, or late?
This might sound surprising to you now, but I am actually very early and punctual and organized, usually.
Amazing. I know we had a bit of time zone synchronization that kind of threw us out a little bit in the last couple of
That's
days.
usually not me at all. I'm so German when it comes to that because I hate when people stand me up, or what's it called?
Yes. Yeah, you're
Me
right.
up. Yeah. So
It was so funny though, because I was like, "Oh, don't worry, I can do this time." And then you sent me a picture on the back of a motorcycle. It's hilarious. I was like, "Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work."
you were like, "Oh, can you just call me from the car?" And I'm like, "Honey, I'm in Bali.
Yeah,
There's no car."
that was hilarious. What's a special location for you in the world?
Oh, I have to say Bali. That's just for me paradise on earth.
What's your star sign? But I know the answer to this. You are the most magnificent star sign that there is. There's no other star sign that's better. Nice. There is nothing that compares. The luckiest, the most philosophical, adventurous, courageous star sign, Sagittarius.
Of course, the one and only.
I'm absolutely basking in that glory as well. So that's why I'm bigging up so much.
As you should.
As I should, absolutely. And then a book, a movie, or a TV show that you'd recommend.
That I recommend. Oh, I love Black Mirror. I think it just
Okay.
reflects society so good, or what will happen to society in the future if we don't stop right now and be careful with all of this technology stuff. So yeah, love Black Mirror so much.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Oh, you haven't seen
I
it?
haven't seen it. No, it's on my bucket list. But my
I'm
bucket list is quite.
jealous. Okay, look, it's a series and every episode is different. They don't
Oh,
like correlate with each other. Some do, but basically, like if you watch one and you don't like it, just go on until you like one because, look,
oh,
disclaimer, they are disturbing. They are very
okay,
disturbing, okay? It's nothing to watch like with your kids on a Sunday evening with some popcorn.
okay.
It's hardcore stuff, but yeah, it really gets you to think about some issues in this world, and I love that.
Black Mirror. Okay, I thought it was a movie. I'm probably confusing it with something else.
I love everything like post-apocalyptical.
Yeah. So, what we're talking about, like V for Vendetta, The Matrix, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all of those.
Nice.
Oh,
Um,
Handmaid's Tale, another good one, but that I cannot watch that too long because it gets me so angry.
is that? I haven't seen that either. Is that post-apocalyptic?
Yeah, well, basically, it's not really an apocalypse, but it's like the downfall of a country, society,
Hmm.
and they built a new country which is like really restricting to women, especially.
Okay.
It's from a really good book series, and they just made a phenomenal series out of that. And it yeah, it makes you really angry. So
Okay. Yeah. So if I want to
another
feel angry,
disclaimer.
if I want to tap into those darker emotions, I'll watch the TV series and the movie. Okay, fine.
For more recommendations,
From
ask Jean.
Ask Gene. And so my next question is, what made you decide to come on the Go Encourage podcast today?
Oh, just because of you. You're such a ray of sunshine. And yeah, you're so great at what you do. And then Julia was amazed by you. So she said, yeah, do it as well. He's super nice.
Ah, I don't know what to say to that. A ray of sunshine. Wow, what a compliment. Okay, all right. Try not to smile too much. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then
Okay.
the biggest question. Are you ready for this?
Mhm.
It's a lot of pressure, Gene. Okay. Have you subscribed to the Go Encourage podcast on YouTube yet?
I think we have with the Sacred Emotions profile. I'm not sure.
Nice. Yeah, I think for people listening, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, it makes such a massive difference and it helps bring conversations to more and more people who need it. So yeah, take a minute to just take a second just to hit that subscribe button. I'll put a little thing up on the screen right now. Cool. All right. Can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up?
Yes, so I grew up in cold, gray, and grumpy Germany, but I'm half Greek, so my mother is from
Hmm.
Greece. But yeah, I grew up completely in Germany and hated every second of it. So that's why I'm here now in Bali, much happier, more tanned.
Okay. Why did you hate it so much? Was it
Oh, just
weather,
everything. I
culture?
really don't want to be that person, but I just hate everything about it. Like the weather, the society, the government, the people. They're like literally when you land with the plane and you go into the airport in Germany, you already know you're there. Like everyone's like staring at you grumpy and
Hmm.
just no one's friendly and people are just so stuck up and it's just not a great place to be in
All
the
right.
world.
Entschuldigen, if you are German listeners right now and you're being
I'm
offended by what
sorry,
Jean is saying, this was just her experience, okay?
but honestly I hear it such so much from people like from foreigners when I'm traveling. They always say, oh, German people are so nice, and I'm like, yeah, the German people who are traveling, they are super nice. But the ones that stay in Germany are the not nice ones. Everyone's like, oh, German people are so nice. I'm going to go to Germany. It's going to be the best experience. No, 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 no. The nice people leave the country. That's why you meet them somewhere else on the planet.
That's
I'm such a hater right now. Sorry.
that's okay. I've been a couple of times, and I remember one time I went. We had a little competition, me and my mum actually, and it was a long time ago. We went to see my cousin; he lives out there, and we were like, let's see how many people we can say hello to, and see that they'll say it back. And it was so hard to get 5 hellos in one day. It was really, really hard. That was the competition.
See?
So when you think back to when you were a child, what early influences do you think you had? Like, did you have an aspiration or an ambition to be a particular, I don't know, like go into a particular career later on in life?
I wanted to be a witch.
A witch.
Yes, with my little house in the forest, herbs and cats and maybe some chicken,
We're
making
going
some
full
food.
Hansel and Gretel right now. Yeah, you wanted to be a proper.
Yes, that's what I aspire to be.
But actually, okay.
Yes, not kidding.
I'm so interested. Okay. What drew you to that?
Well, I don't know. As a kid, I always liked books and movies about witches, and then I did my little witch soup in the garden and had my little magic wand and my little book where I like wrote down spells. And then as of right now, I just mean like I want to have a little house in the forest, just like a little bit isolated from society with my
Hmm.
animals, and just like plant some herbs, some vegetables, and just be at peace with myself.
Wow.
um, but yeah, that's what I wanted to become. Yeah.
Was there a particular witch that influenced you?
I wouldn't say a particular one, no.
Yeah, nothing in a story or anything. Because if you think about it, what is a witch? What does a witch do?
Basically, just a woman who is in touch with her femininity, who's in touch with nature and lives in balance with it. And yeah, I think those women in the past were just called witches for being
Mm.
smart, being able to read, being able to like work with nature and its miracles.
Oh, okay. I'm with you now. So you're talking about more in the serious realm, right? I was thinking like magic and maybe more
Magic
negative
is real.
spells, and magic is real. You heard it here first, guys.
It
Magic
is.
is real.
Everything is frequency, right? That's
Hmm.
scientifically proven. So why would energy and magic not be real? Like it makes sense.
And I think it's language as well, right? If you
Yeah,
were
words are spells.
interesting, let's unpack that. Words are spells. Okay.
You know what they say? Some people call it prayers.
Hmm.
Religious people would call it prayers. Spiritual people would call it meditation.
Hmm.
And witches call it spells. It's literally the same thing. Religious people pray, chant, whatever, and then spiritual people do it in form of like meditation, manifestation, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
And that's what spells are for witches, right?
Yeah, really interesting. Language is so important, and the words we speak, just on one layer of frequency, is so important. The way that you phrase a question, or the way that oh, you're not going to finish that glass of water, versus, great that you're drinking water, really good for you. It's
Mm.
already you're coming with a different energy, right? So
It's
there's
so
that layer.
powerful what it does to the mind, honestly. I really think
Mm.
that in the past, what people called magic was just what we now experience as all these scientific things that are studied
Mm.
about manifestation and rewiring the brain and just put in different, simpler words.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I'll throw into the mix as well. Like, I've been in situations where people have prayed certain things or spoken goodness over a life, and the life has been transformed. It's been changed. Mindsets have been changed. People go to
Yeah.
big conferences, Tony Robbins, like all sorts of places with these incredible coaches and speakers, and it takes just a moment, a drop of something that's relevant to that individual at that moment, at that time. Like, it all comes together like magic, and then and they have that experience, and it changes them, which is powerful.
Yeah, it is really profound.
All right, wow, witchcraft. I
I'm
think you
not doing
posted
black
something.
magic. Just a disclaimer, I would never do
Okay.
black magic or blood magic.
Yeah, you're too on the positive side of the yin yang for that, right? No black
Yeah,
magic.
I'm not gonna bend someone's will because that just backfires on you, you know? I don't want the bad juju.
Yeah, and they say if you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? So if you go in with an intention that is harmful, you're playing with fire, right? And so you're going to get
Yeah.
burnt. Whereas if you
It doesn't
have,
even,
sorry, go on.
sorry, it doesn't even need to be harmful, but just to try to bend someone's will
Hmm.
is just not what I would do. But, they also say to haunt someone is to be haunted by them. So if I would
Mm.
like put a spell on someone and obsessively like think about someone, I want to make that person mine or something, let's talk about like for example love spell or something like that, then I'm going to be obsessed with that person as well. It goes both
Hmm.
ways. It's not a one-way street.
Is that real, a love spell?
I wouldn't do that.
Sounds like movies though, right? Put a love spell on someone. Okay. All right, we'll move on.
Yes.
If
I
you
hope my ex doesn't see this.
if you have had a love spell put on you or know how to do a love spell, put it in the
He was
comments. We
so
want to know more.
scared. He was so scared of that I would do that.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he was scared of me.
You just want to verify he's okay? He's all right? Yeah?
I'm putting a lot of disclaimers in this.
Yeah. I have so many jokes. I need to move on. Okay. In terms of you growing up in family, do you have brothers and sisters? Did you grow up in a good family environment?
Yes, I do have a little sister, and I grew up in a little village with my family in a house. But yeah, my childhood environment was great with my grandparents as well. I think they had a great impact on me. But then later on, moving into my teenage years, things went a little bit south because my parents
Hmm.
got a divorce and it was a bit messy. They threw me out of the house and all that. That's kind of my origin story, why I got into all of this.
They threw you into a youth camp in Italy. Is that where it came from?
Well, they did that as well, yeah. But
Hmm.
they threw me out of the house later. I was 15.
So young.
Yeah, pretty young.
Do you feel like that? Looking back now, did that provide a opportunity for independence quite early on?
It definitely provided an opportunity to get stuck in survival mode for a long time. But yeah, of course, I developed hyper independence from that,
Hmm.
which I'm still working on. Like, I'm still working on resolving this because I think you never fully heal, right? It's a work in progress your whole life until you die. But it definitely made me the person I am today.
Hmm. Was there something that happened that led to you being thrown out?
Yeah, so basically, my parents divorced and both had new partners. And I guess their new partners just didn't want to have the kids in the house and didn't really like us so much. Yeah, that's just why things developed that way. And I was a bit of a rebellious teen. Very difficult
Yeah.
stage, for a kid.
Yeah, understandably so. And especially if you've got going on in the background. Were there particular feelings that you can reflect back on and I guess understand that was going on for you internally?
Well, when it happened, not much. This all came crashing down on me years later.
Hmm.
At this point, I was just like trying to survive, trying to get back up on my feet. And making the best out of the situation. Yeah, but that kind of led me to be stuck in the survival mode for so long, which
Mhm.
is kind of annoying because that comes with a lot of physical issues as well if you're stuck in that mode for too long.
Mm. What was the very next thing that happened then? So you found yourself on your own. Did you seek support from friends, family, that kind of thing? Did you travel away from the country, city, village?
Okay, short story. My sister was still living with my father, and then she was also not happy there. So I just said, okay, move in with me.
Mhm.
She was 13. So yeah, she did. And then I kind of had to like take care of her as well. And
Wow.
had like a lot of jobs and just trying to, yeah, make ends meet.
Mhm.
And my parents actually, when they found out that this was going on, they called social services. And what they did is, funny enough, they, what's it called, took away my parents' guardianship over us. So they lost custody of us.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, there was like a psychologist who deemed them unfit to raise children, basically.
Mhm.
And my sister, because she was so young, almost got put in a foster home. And it was very, very close. But I kind of begged the psychologist for some sort of solution, and then she actually deemed me fit to raise her, and then she
Wow.
was allowed to stay with me, and like we got some money from social services to get a nice apartment because we were living in like a 20 square feet apartment, which was basically just two mattresses on the floor.
Mhm.
So then, yeah, things developed into that direction and got better. But then we had no contact with our parents for like a really long time.
Mm.
Um, yeah. And until this day, I'm not in great contact with my mom. With my dad, it got better. But
Okay.
yeah, there was definitely a difficult time in my life where I had to figure all this out. Yeah.
Wow. My heart feels heavy. I have two daughters of that similar
Mm.
age, and I can't imagine what that must have felt like for you. And the fact that you showed up for your sister in such a powerful way as well. What do you think looking back, what do you think you learned in terms of being able to show up for both yourself and your younger sister? What kind of strategies do you think you developed, even if you didn't particularly sit down to think it through, but what do you think naturally came out of you?
So you mean what good things I took from this experience?
Yeah, sure. It doesn't have to be good, but yeah, anything that you felt shaped who you are today.
Because I really want to say I wasn't perfect. Like
Hmm.
I developed like a lot of anger issues in that time. I was a really, really angry child or teenager, um, because of what had happened to me and how
Hmm.
they treated me. And that's also what we talked about in our podcast, Julia and I, the relationship to anger, and that I really let it all out. Like
Mm.
I was not nice. I said what had to be said, and I wasn't a people pleaser at all. And we were
Mm.
talking about kind of that she was the opposite, and that's why she thinks she developed her autoimmune condition because she swallowed all that anger. And
Mm.
I luckily didn't develop an autoimmune condition, but um, for me, it was more of these anger issues, than the constant survival mode, the hyper independence that came with that.
Mm.
And yeah, as I said, right now I'm working on resolving these issues in terms of learning to let go, to detach, and to surrender, because I really do have a problem with letting go of control because
Mm.
I had to be in control always, otherwise things would go south. So yeah, I'm really learning how to give up control and just be in the moment, go with the flow, and just receive without
Mm.
putting so much pressure behind that.
Yeah. Which is so understandable, right? The idea of easing up and letting go of control attached to potentially what happened in terms of being cast out in that way makes so much sense, right? Why would your body feel comfortable in that?
Yeah, I think it's actually so fascinating what happened to my brain in that time of my
Hmm.
life, because when we finally got out of this chaotic state and we finally got that key for our new apartment,
Hmm.
and we knew this was paid for, we would get like money monthly from social services, so I didn't have to work three jobs
Hmm.
besides school. um, Once we got that key, I thought that I would be so happy, looking forward to like putting all the decoration, furniture, painting the walls, making a home for ourselves. But the second I walked in, I just fell on that mattress. It was completely empty, the apartment. There was just our mattresses. Um, and I just fell on that mattress and I slept for a month. I didn't go to school. I was knocked out with a really heavy depression.
Hmm.
And before that, I was a super happy, optimistic person, and I didn't even know what is depression. I thought it's people being sad, but it's not sadness at all. Depression is
Hmm.
just to feel nothing, to feel
Hmm.
absolutely numb, as if there's just a gray veil over your whole life, and the things you used to laugh about that made you happy just don't anymore. And
Hmm.
I just, yeah, slept for a month. And when I woke up in like a panic. Like my heart was racing, I was sweaty, and I was desperately trying to get myself out of this state and doing like reckless things. I ruined a lot of friendships in that time because I was so reckless, because I was just trying to somehow feel something again, even if it was
Hmm.
bad. Um, but at some point, one day, I think it was like about 4 months later, I woke up normal without like a racing heart. Um, and I was just my old self again, and it was just gone.
Hmm.
And it never came back. And I think that's so fascinating, because my brain was literally like, okay, we're out of this survival mode now, like
Hmm.
the hard stuff is done, we're safe now, so I can be safe to just switch off, because this is too much emotions coming down on me. Because
Hmm.
when you feel safe, that is the moment where you can actually process all the emotions, everything that
Hmm.
had happened
Yeah.
in this time. And I couldn't process it this whole time because I had to survive. And when I finally could, my brain was just like, nope, that's too much for me, and just shut down for 4 months. And
Hmm.
that's just crazy to me. Yeah. And then I was normal again.
Normal.
Yeah. Well, still kind of stuck in this survival state a little bit, but not
Yeah.
as much as it was before. And I did have
Yeah.
panic attacks. I developed a anxiety disorder, and I had panic attacks for a while, but then it got better and better gradually. And now, obviously, it's like what, over 10 years ago. So I've come a long way from that. But that
Hmm.
was, yeah, a really tough time in my life.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being open and sharing,
Of course.
being so vulnerable around it. I think when it comes to depression and panic attacks, it's so interesting because I like the way you put it with depression, you don't feel anything, right? And so you were sharing a little bit about how you were pushing things in life in order to feel something, which is probably quite common if you're in that state. And then the panic attacks. Now, I have had experience with both as well. With panic attacks, it's almost the other end of the spectrum, right? You feel everything, and you feel it in
Mm,
such a loud, um, outrageous way that you feel like the container of your body well, your body can't contain it basically. And so it's almost like the other end. So it sounds like from a logical perspective, you were going through what you went through, and the pendulum swung from one to the other, and it was almost like a 4-month swing. A full month swing. It sounds like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you never had a panic attack before,
Hmm.
you think you're gonna die because you don't know what's happening. You can't breathe. You're
Yeah.
like your heart is racing. You get like hot and cold, and you're just like, what is happening to me right now? I
Mm.
almost went to the hospital, but I luckily got someone with me who kind of knew what was going on and who
Hmm.
was calming me down and telling me that I was okay. But yeah, I basically the panic attack stopped when I understood that at some point I just had the fear of the fear. So
Hmm.
I was just afraid that this is going to happen again when I sit in the classroom in school, and then it's going to be super embarrassing or whatever. So when I thought about that, then another one came, or sometimes even so random. I would be super chill watching TV at home, and then it just came out of nowhere, and I had to like manually calm me down and tell me that everything is okay and do like breathing techniques. But yeah,
Mm.
once you kind of understand that it's not going to kill you, that it's going to go away, then yeah, they stopped.
Mm. And how did you get to that place of understanding that? Was there someone who supported you? Did you come to that yourself?
No, actually, I didn't have a really good support system at that time, but I just researched a lot. I Googled and I read in some forums of people who struggle with this, and came across this person who described it very good, and that really helped me.
Mm. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think what you're saying there, it sounds like, is that there was a key to unlocking that, and it was up here. Um,
Yes,
Very interesting.
definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my 40s, and even now, if I go on a public transport on a train, I used to have panic attacks like 20 something years ago, and sometimes they'd happen on a train, and
Mm,
I've gone on the journey and healed, and I don't have them. But now, if I sit on a train, I feel that
mm,
little leftover feeling.
yes,
I
the
can,
trigger.
yeah, I can do it, but I have to think about it and have to keep reminding myself. You can get off at the next stop. It's okay. Like, all of these kinds
Yes,
of things. And I'm like, wow, 20 years and it's still sitting there niggling away at the back of your brain. Yeah.
yeah, the brain is fascinating. That's
Amen
why I
to that.
studied psychology. Once because of that, and then
Hmm.
also because of the psychologist who, yeah, kind of saved my sister a little bit.
Mm. Oh, so the psychologist was an influential part of your life then.
Yeah, yeah. I studied psychology for a few semesters. I didn't finish,
Okay.
but I basically just did it out of interest and to understand myself better
Hmm.
and other people.
Yeah, so interesting. I did psychology as well, and from the perspective of understanding myself a bit better as well. And it's
Mm,
fascinating, right? Absolutely fascinating.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. There's no black and whiteness to it.
No,
Like with maths, right? This
complex.
means this. And
Yeah. I hate math. Oh my God, I was so bad at this.
okay. All right. And then if you, like, obviously you've got now, what, 15 years of hindsight, right, to that time. If you look back, what do you think that season was trying to teach you? Or what did you think you learned from that?
Mm, I think I learned from that I can be very resilient and that it's okay to rely on yourself, to be alone and to be happy alone. And that the body and the mind is much stronger than we think.
Hmm.
And that's the biggest takeaways, I think. And as I said, I'm still working on the surrender part and the letting go of control. Ayahuasca helped me with that a lot.
Ayahuasca. Interesting. Say more.
Yeah, so we did, Julia and I did an ayahuasca ceremony together. I was just feeling called to ayahuasca since I first heard of it as a kid. I think I saw it on the TV in some documentation or something, and I was just like, one day I'm gonna do this. Julia didn't feel it so much, but she did it because of me. I didn't want to do it alone. I was scared. And I did some crazy stuff with her, so she kind of had to.
It's a bestie contract, right? If I did that for you,
Yes.
you got to come with me. Yeah, I get it.
So, yeah, that was one of the most transformative spiritual experiences that I ever had in my life. And years of no panic attacks. But of course, I take that drink, 20 minutes, it kicks in, and I get a massive panic attack because I felt losing control of my body. Like I couldn't move my fingers anymore. My arms started to get numb, and then I couldn't speak anymore. And then even like I couldn't even form a thought anymore. It was that bad. Like usually, when you don't feel your body or you cannot really speak or something, you still can like think. You're still in there, but no, not even that. Like the ability to have control over my body was just taken from me. So I got a massive panic attack and like took all of the strength that I had left and crawled to the facilitator. And I was just like, help, having a panic attack. Is this normal?
Yeah.
But she couldn't really help me because she was also high.
Oh
So,
no.
but they only take like half the cup. I think it's like tradition that there's no one allowed to be sober in that ceremony because we did it with like proper like Brazilian shamans from the jungle. So it was, yeah, very sacred. So when I figured out that she couldn't help me, I kind of like crawled back to my yoga mat and then just said to myself, okay, you got yourself into this, just surrender now. What are you gonna do? And I was just laying down on my yoga mat and just had my arms like this and closed my eyes. And in this moment, my arms kind of like felt as if they would melt into my body, and my forehead was kind of pushed back into the ground. I felt this like buzzing frequency right where the third eye is, and it was feeling like it was pushing me down. And it got louder and louder and louder until I completely blacked out. And then I basically, no, I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, I couldn't think. And I just had this, it felt like having like a download, like your brain is resetted. And I had like these almost like computer downloads. I had these visuals of like a computer download with these numbers, like in the Matrix, and was hearing this buzzing frequency in my third eye. And I was so sensitive to frequencies that I could even hear the frequency of the fridge, the fridge was like a few meters from my head. And it was really bugging me, the weird frequency of the fridge interfering with my journey.
How dare it?
Yeah. And then I don't know how long those downloads went on for, but at some point I got up out of reflex. And luckily the bucket was standing in front of me because I had to vomit. And yeah, I just threw up in that bucket like 7 to 8 times. And only in that split second where I actually where the vomit was coming outside of my body, in that split second where I was holding the bucket, I was like, all right, how I have a body. How do I use that again? How do I control this vessel? And that was so crazy to me because I was hanging over that bucket and thinking to myself, how does this work again? What am I? I was like, am I a human? Am I a woman? Am I a man? I didn't know if I was even female or male. And I was thinking, what is my name? I forgot completely who I was.
Wow.
And that was such a profound experience to me because I believe that we all have a soul. But to actually experience, you don't need your body. This is just a vessel. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, a man, what your name is. You're just an energy. You're just a soul. I just felt like I am just this buzzing energy and nothing else matters in this moment. And that was just, yeah, one of the biggest takeaways from that. And then after all that throwing up, I passed out again. I fell on my water bottle, which was made out of glass. So it broke, and I was just laying there in the water and glass shards, and I couldn't move. So I was just laying there and just accepting my fate. And
Wow.
in that moment, I kind of felt like a little bit of like self-pity, because I don't know, it just came up. I felt like self-pity and like, oh, no one's helping me. I'm laying here, I'm cold, I'm in this water, and no one's gonna help me. And then I had this message coming into my head of like, yeah, no one is gonna help you, because everyone just cares about themselves. But if everyone cares about themselves, and we are all one, then everyone is cared for. And in my head, the group, we were like sitting in a circle, was like melting into this one energy. And I was like, oh, we're all one. And like, spiritual people always say this,
Yeah.
but if you really like see it and experience it, what it actually means, you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about. Yeah, so that's kind of the message that I had. And then slowly I started to form thoughts again. Like I could form like a little sentence in my head again. For example, like, oh, my sock is wet. And then usually you put another sentence behind that, right? Like, oh, my sock is wet, I'm gonna get sick, or I'm gonna be cold. But it was like the ability to overthink was taken from me, because I only was able to think one sentence. Oh, my sock is wet. Full stop. I was not able to form that second sentence. It was just like ripped out of my brain. So crazy to explain. And then I was looking at Julia, and she was sleeping peacefully. And I was like, oh, Julia is asleep. And usually I would be like, she can't help me, or what is she experiencing? But no, it was just like, okay, Julia is asleep. Full stop. And that went on and on, maybe like 30, 40 times. I was trying to like form a thought and overthink this thought, but it was just like, no, you're not going to overthink.
Wow.
And at some point I just gave up. I was just like, okay, I guess nothing matters. And then I had this other aha moment of like, yeah, nothing actually matters. You're right. And then I was like, okay, I guess. And then the trip kind of changed into, from being in this nightmare, vomiting and like ego death and who am I even, kind of developing into this nothing matters. And I was just like giggling and just happy. And I all of a sudden felt warm and cozy. And slowly people were getting their senses back and started to dance in the room. And I was just watching them like a little child and was just like giggling and so happy. Yeah. And then we took it at like 11 at night. And then at 8 in the morning, we kind of like woke up from it. And I was like putting my hoodie down, looking over to Julia, like the sun would rise outside. And I was looking over to her, waking up, and I was like, dude, what the fuck was that? And she goes, well, this whole time, the only thing I saw was this Chinese winking cat. These Maniki Nico cats. I'm like, what?
Yeah, she told me that actually. Wow. That's what a random thing to think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It sounds like the whole experience is for me as a listener, it's really interesting because like control, organization, showing up for your sister in that early time, being in survival mode, all of those things, pushing, pulling, well, that's my diplomatic way of saying sounded like you were acting up when you were younger. And then to be in a state where when you said your words were nothing matters, it's not that nothing matters, but the idea that all of this noise, you can start to let it go. And though the overthinking doesn't matter as much as the fact of whatever, or the reality of what's going on in front of you. So when you were saying Julia's there asleep, or this person's dancing, or whatever, the the surrender that you had to, okay, that's actually what's happening in front of me. I don't have to think further than that. I don't have to think, do I join them? Do I do a special TikTok dance? Like whatever, like none of that
Yes.
stuff is coming up. That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really transformational experience for
What would you
sure.
say to the idea that, well, you just got a bit drunk and like high and you had some funky feelings, big deal. Like, that I'm pushing back with some cynicism a little bit. Like, what would you say to that? Because obviously you went on the experience, right? So you know what it felt like.
Mm, what exactly do you mean by that question?
I guess like when I have conversations with people and ayahuasca comes up, there's a strong feeling to it, either positive or negative. And because I'm hearing such a positive experience from you, I'm trying to counterbalance that with people who
Mm,
may be interested in it and what it is, and would push back to say, no, it wasn't. People don't have spiritual experiences; they just get off their head and then they just make stuff
mm.
up.
Oh, yeah, well, you can compare this to alcohol or any other drugs. If you ask me,
Hmm.
it's a mix of different drugs. I mean, I don't want to get into that subject now, but
Hmm.
um, it's really a journey back to yourself, and it really unlocks your unconsciousness, like they say. I don't know if I agree with the sentence, one ayahuasca session is worth more than 100 step therapy sessions, because I don't know, you do need therapy as well, and you do
Mm.
need to kind of understand what your core issues are. Um, but it can really show you what is actually important to you. And I would definitely not recommend it to everyone. If you
Hmm.
haven't done any inner work in your life, don't do it. You will
Hmm.
spiral. This will not be good for you.
Hmm.
There were men in the circle. I think they were just doing it because it's kind of a trend. They had the
Wow.
most horrible night of their lives. They were screaming, crying, shitting their pants. It was not nice at all.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, you really have to have done some work on yourself, and you have to be open to it, and you have to feel the calling to it, because when when we're gonna put it in a more spiritual sense, the shamans say, they call it the grandmother. And the grandmother, you really have to form a connection with her, and she really has to want to show you what is going on for you in your inner world. And if you don't respect the practice, and if you don't really believe in it, you're just going to have a really bad trip, and that's it. But if you really
Mm.
want to work on yourself, and you want to work on those issues and work it through, then yeah, she'll show you how and what you need to do.
Okay. I had a friend who was talking about it. I just had a call with her last week actually, and she was saying how for her she went in with questions.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and then so she had specific questions, and she felt like she had very clear answers back for her questions that she took into her life and was able to action. I don't think it
Mhm.
was the first time she's done it, so I think there's already been a relationship, a connection to the
Mm,
ceremony. But that was really interesting as well, because others have talked about a serpent or a snake that appears that is transformational in nature and opens up like
mhm.
more of a cosmic adventure. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting as well. Um, but from what I hear about it and DMT is there seems to be, not in every case, but there seems to be a common experience meeting things, beings, or other
Mm,
dimensional forces that can't really be explained. And I think that's where the
yeah.
curiosity is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so, so powerful. Plant medicine is so important. And I also went in with some questions, but
Mhm.
of course, me, the overthinker, the organizer, I had my journal with me. I thought I could journal during the experience. I was so wrong. But then it showed me exactly what I needed. It was like, put the questions aside. You're not going to work on any childhood trauma today. You're not going to get answers to your specific 15 questions. You're just a soul. Relax, chill out. And that is exactly what I needed, Not an answer to all of these questions, but just like, nothing matters. You're just a soul. This is just a vessel. You need to relax and just be.
It's really interesting. I'm a man of faith, right? So when some people ask me, like, how can you believe in this invisible person on a throne in the sky, like barking orders at you? And I'm like, it's so contained the way that society or however we've been conditioned. But the idea that, if you come into a spiritual connection with a divine being, you have to come with authenticity, as in like this is what I actually think about what is going on right now, and that's what I'm going to bring to the table. Because I think if you don't, you're just faking it. You're just lying to yourself. And I believe one of the most divine concepts is truth. And so how can you come to truth with a lie? And I think that's really important to bring to the table, which kind of aligns with what you're saying. You're coming with your journal, but actually it was for you is more of a listen, Jean. You are so highly strung. We need to de-string you a little bit, and then you had that experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you are
Powerful.
Christian?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I think it's hard to put into words, because I think when people think of a Christian, they have a particular set of, he must think this, he must think that, etc., etc. Whereas I think my Christianity, or at least my journey into it, was to study the major religions of the world. And that was all good and fascinating, etc. But it was all up here. And it wasn't until I opened my heart into spiritual experiences that I ended up in a place that I never thought. Like, I would mock Christianity, really. Like, growing up, I'd be like, what is this business? But actually, the idea that there is a divine power that we call God, even if you go back through ancient traditions, God would be known as Yahweh, going back to your name meaning, right? And even Yahweh, even the name Yahweh is translated from I am that I am, or just that I am. So even when this being was trying to explain their identity, i.e. the meaning of their name, podcast throwback, it means I am, as in I am just present. I just am. And that's powerful, right? So it speaks to presence straight away. And actually, the way you pronounce Yahweh, really interesting, is, I don't know if this is going to come out well on the podcast, but you go, that's how you say the name. So it's literally breath work is how you say the name of the most high, most divine, which is powerful, right? So when you think Christian, you think goes to church, says some prayers. But if you look into the spiritual aspect of what it all means, that's where I kind of sit and align myself. And I'm very curious about people's experiences with the divine, what that looks like. And for me, Christ plays a huge part of that.
So you do believe in God as a higher power and not like Sky Daddy?
Yeah. And I believe that we can't, I think there are our 3D minds work in a particular way, so we can't unpack what that actually looks like. So when people talk about the earth, energy, frequency, you talk about spiritual realms, you talk about prayer, we talked about curses, we talked about all of that stuff. I think these are just limited language that we have to try and describe something that we can't actually fathom in this particular dimension, if that makes sense. So I'm fascinated with, like, research that people do, whether they're scientists or not, into what's outside of the unknown. And I think when you tap into that stuff, people are going to think you're crazy, and maybe potentially you have to be a little bit crazy in order to be able to go on those journeys and get to a place of, so I like to call it faith more than I like to call it religion. I think religion is man-made and ordered structure, whereas I think faith is a place of curiosity, openness, and then wanting to believe something that you can't see with your eyes or hear with your ears. It's the wholeness. It's our holistic selves that are able to receive that energy, the download, whatever you want to call it, in order to find meaning in what we were created for. Yeah. Sorry, that was a long answer. Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. I absolutely agree with that.
Can I ask you a question, right? Of course I
Sure.
can. It's my podcast. You're my guest, right?
We are on a
We're on a
podcast.
podcast. Just let's come back to the earthly realm for a second, right? The word courage, I'm fascinated by it. I feel like it's the virtue that holds all the other virtues together. What does courage mean to you? What kind of feelings arise for you?
Mm, I think it's just to unapologetically do what you want to do with your life without any regrets, and just following your passion, following your dreams, and create your dream life with courage.
Hmm. And what do you think, in your practice as a holistic practitioner, what do you think people, why do you think people need help with that or find that difficult to do?
Oh, I think it is so, so needed because me personally, I never met a doctor who really listened to me or really helped me and not just treat my symptoms.
Hmm.
And we really need to go back to that, to people just sitting down with you, listening, and getting to the root cause of your problem. Where does it actually
Mm.
come from? And there's so much illnesses that develop because of our mind. They are
Mm.
psychosomatic, and we just completely disregard this and just throw on more medication. And I just think people need this in their daily life as much as they need psychologists, like talk therapy, as much as they need doctors, as in like Western medicine. Yeah, bring back healers. This is
Mm.
so much more powerful.
And there's if you look at ancient life, right, there's so many different pockets of it around the world. Of it, when I say it, I mean of people who were known as healers and people who were passed down through tradition, knowledge that would help the human body and help our, I guess, emotional and spiritual aspects to that as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that has been erased, especially when it comes to women being in that position of
Hmm.
being the village oldest shaman or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there has been so much that we don't know about. And I just feel like women, especially, have this just divine power of the source because we are the ones that create life in our wombs and we're so connected. We are such empathetic beings just by nature. And that is also on the opposite side,
Hmm.
unfortunately, the reason why so many women get sick because they take it all in,
Hmm.
suppress, and men tend to take their emotions outside. And if
Hmm.
they're angry, they're gonna scream or gonna punch something. And women just take it all out on themselves internally. And this is
Hmm.
why, yeah, you can see in the statistics that yeah, women have more autoimmune conditions and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So, yeah, I think we really need to go back to women being in touch with this divine source, and we need more healers, male and also female.
Mm. Yeah, I think when the two work together, the feminine and the masculine together, then we've got a really powerful foundation.
Absolutely. They should
Um,
absolutely work together and not against each other.
mm. And I think that's part of the divide and conquer. If we're talking about things of the
Yes.
spirit, and we're talking maybe if you don't mind me using this language, we think of light versus dark, good versus evil, etc. Evil or badness, and I'm not talking about shadow work, but I'm talking about evil in its pure form, which is to cause harm and to actually um, divide and conquer. If you take the masculine and the feminine and you divide them and you put them against each other, like you're
Yeah.
winning from an evil perspective, right? Whereas on the other side, if we are to celebrate, like as a man, if I'm celebrating you as a woman and you're celebrating me as a man, and we're lifting each other in terms of potential and, speaking good over each other and a bit like you and Jules there in terms of like you balance each other out, then you're in a really good foundation. And when the two come together and there's a connection through consciousness as well, and I'm talking now about humankind, then that's an unstoppable force, right?
Yeah, that's definitely what's happening nowadays, sadly. And we really need to figure that out.
Yes. Well, I mean, if anyone knows the answer to that, let us know. Yeah, and it's centuries, right? It's centuries of the same battle going over and over and over again.
I think there's a lot of ego involved.
Agreed. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. What's it like in terms of the spiritual life in Bali? Is it quite balanced in terms of masculine and feminine, or is it heavily feminine?
I think it's quite balanced. There's a lot of spiritual men here, and Bali itself, I think, has more of a feminine energy. As you know, I moved to Dubai in January and then back now because of the war. But Dubai is so masculine energy, and here in Bali, I just feel like I can like exhale and just lean back, receive, go with the flow. It's just such a magical place.
Yeah, I wonder if like if going to Dubai, then if it is masculine energy, puts you back into the thing that you were walking away from so early
Yeah.
on in your life. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it did a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If someone was listening to this and they wanted to maybe take a step of courage and they have been maybe experiencing panic attacks, maybe there's levels of anxiety there, maybe they don't know their direction, things like that. As a practitioner, what advice would you give to them? Where would they start?
So I do have a really good advice for people that tend to overthink a lot or are very anxious. What I always do, I go on YouTube and I watch this video. Maybe you know it, where there's like a person on the street and then the video zooms out and then you see the whole map of the city and then the country, the world, and then the Milky Way and then other galaxies and planets, and it just zooms out. And then you really see how tiny and unimportant you actually are, and that nothing actually really matters. Nothing that you do, none of your problems are that deep. And that's one thing that really helps me to kind of get me out of that spiral. But if I would have to say something like more what you can actually do, like first steps to kind of get you out of this state, not only feel better, but actually do make a change, then I would highly recommend a good little morning ritual, maybe with some affirmations, with frequency music, good vibrational stuff, maybe some cleansing with some incense or some Palo Santo. Journaling is a really big one that helps overthinkers or people with anxiety. Just write down all your thoughts. I have two journals. One is like for organizing a to-do list. Okay, I want to have everything out of my head right now, so I can just write all of that down and I don't have to constantly think about what do I still have to do. And then another one where I just put down all my emotions, just whatever comes to mind, angry, sad, whatever, jealous. I just write that down. You don't even have to write pretty, just like write it in there.
Get it out.
Then, yeah, just rip out the page, burn it, whatever you want to do with it, eat it. Or maybe not eat it. Don't eat the bad thoughts.
There's your morning ritual breakfast, yeah. Eat the journal page.
There's your breakfast as well, 2 in 1.
Amazing. I've actually authored a journal, and I was trying to work out a way of getting a copy to Jules, and we can't make it work to Bali because you guys don't have Amazon delivery drivers. What's going on, right?
Yeah, that's so hard to do, honestly. That's not easy.
but I'll
And
try
then
and
it arrives here, and then you have to pay like $100 of customs on top of it.
just, oh no. Okay, we'll work it out so I can get you both a copy. I'd love to get your insight, especially if you're a journaler anyway.
Yeah.
But it's called the Courage Journal. It has the most masculine cover. I had a copy here a second ago. I think I moved it over
We're
there.
going to put some stickers on it.
Yeah, put some stickers on it, see what works. But the idea is just a grey cover, and it says the Courage Journal on it. And the reason I didn't put, I'm a graphic designer by background, so I did think of lots of designs, but I thought, sometimes you just want a journal that is like inconspicuous. You can just take it out with you, and it doesn't draw any attention, and you can just put in your thoughts. But yeah, I agree. I think journaling is such a powerful tool. In terms of frequency music and things like that, if there's anything you'd recommend, let me know, and I'll chuck it in the comments for people to link onto and find out about.
I do have a playlist.
Are you Apple Music or are you Spotify?
Spotify.
Okay, all right. You're one of those. We vibe on so many levels, but on that one, you're Spotify. To be fair, Spotify is a pretty cool user interface. Yeah, I have to say.
Yeah, I started that because of that student's discount back in Germany, and then I just never got off the platform.
I'm just everything Apple, so it just makes sense for me to use Apple Music. But I have to say, yeah, Spotify is a really satisfying user experience. So fair play.
Yeah, it is.
Is there a particular quote that has stuck with you over your life, or a particular saying that you carry around?
Ooh, yes. I do love Alan Watts, and I have this one, it's a video where he speaks about something, and I always watch it when I feel sad, but it's quite long. Do you want me to just read it?
Yeah, go for it. Let's have a listen.
It's not like just one sentence. But it's so powerful, honestly. Okay, let me read it.
Okay.
Your lowest point is the doorway to your highest self. For when the heart breaks, something far deeper is taking place than mere misfortune. We often don't realize the value of the darkness until it has passed, for only in the absence of light that we learn to become the light. The human mind seeks comfort, but the soul stirs for change. It longs to grow, not to stay the same. The meaning of life is just to be alive, and yet we resist the very currents that are pulling us into deeper awareness of that aliveness. You're not here to chase happiness like a dog chasing its tail. Happiness is a byproduct of becoming whole, and wholeness requires contrast, dark and light, sorrow and joy, breaking and rebuilding. So when it hurts, let it hurt. Don't run. Sit with it, listen to it, and when you finally rise from it, you realize that the joy was never the outcome, but the transformation. Feed the soul, not the ego. Choose evolution over escape, and the light you're searching for will no longer be something you find, it will be something you are.
Love that.
Isn't that just beautiful?
Beautiful. It really links to some of what you shared today as well on the podcast. Wow. And I think one of the things, well, there's lots of things in that, but one of the things that comes to mind is this idea of suppressing emotion, or thinking that a doctor or a therapist is going to fix you. But often it's feeling the feeling through that has been sitting in your body and allowing it to have its moment as you as you express it out.
That's one of the most powerful ways of healing, actually. And it's disregarded so much. Emotional trauma is disregarded way too much. Do you know Teal Swan?
I don't think so, no.
She said something that really stuck with me. She said, if someone would get in a high-speed car crash, you would feel really bad for them, right? For their injuries. Let's say like 70 miles an hour, they go into like a wall or another car or whatever, and they're severely injured, broken bones, open flesh wounds. You're like, wow, okay, let's get you to the hospital. You have to lay in a hospital bed and get medication, heal your wounds, rest for months, weeks up to months. And when someone experiences emotional trauma and gets in an emotional high-speed car crash, people are just like, "Oh, well, cry about it one night, maybe 2 days, and then get over it." And what happens to all these emotional wounds, all these broken bones? They grew together crooked because they're not healing correctly, because you don't take the time. All the wounds that are still open, they get infected if you just go on about your day with open wounds. So I think we really have to take care more of people that actually experience emotional trauma and have some empathy for that, and really let them rest, let them take off time from work to process, to sit with the emotions and to really heal them.
Yeah, really important. And I think in that as well, having that space, or at least the mentality to do that for yourself as well, so that you can lead in that area for someone else. You know, I've been through some tough stuff in my life, and what's really interesting is the ones who've been the most compassionate, the most loving, the most supportive have had such a hard experience in their life as well, because they get it. So this whole idea of ego starts to come into play, because if you're trapped in that world of ego, you don't see it, right? You're inward focused. And even the inward focus isn't a space of love, it's a space of lack. Oh, you're not doing enough, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to be the best at this, and all that kind of thing. Whereas some of the softest hearts and the most tender souls, kindest words, even when they speak to you, you know, you might not realize what they've been through, but that fountain of knowledge or experience comes from those horrible things, and they don't want you to I don't want to say they don't want you to feel the things, because we have to, right? Like, we have to feel our lives, but they also have been on the journey enough to know that they're not there to fix, but they can be there to support or hold space so that you can work through that. Yeah,
because
for sure.
they've been there. I actually made a video about this, the path of the healer, that oftentimes people who are healers have been through so much hardship, but it's like the school for them. This is the lessons they have to go through in order to even become the healer that they are. Because if I never have experienced anything bad or traumatic in my life, I wouldn't be a healer right now. I would probably do something so different, because this is what makes me empathetic. I also did a video about healers don't have to be fully healed. I don't have to be the Dalai Lama, and be fully Zen and completely, enlightened, and have all my trauma figured out and my body completely healed to help another person. Because that is oftentimes where the compassion comes from. When you're still going through it and you're still trying to heal yourself, this is when you can heal others the best.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess it definitely depends on the context, but yeah, I think I'd see a lot of truth in that. Yeah, if you think of a war or a battle, when you're in the trenches and your arm is like bleeding and you've stuck something on there, and you look to your left and your brother's there and he's going through it, so you reach out to him to try and help him out, and so we're all progressing a little bit more further in our journeys by supporting each other. And I think it's really, really important. One thing I'd say to that as well is, if anyone's listening to this part, is that a sense of community is important, right? We are communal beings by nature, but actually you can choose who's in that community. You can, be really mindful about who you let close and who you don't, and that's okay. That's part of, if you're a people pleaser by nature, so I think I'll probably relate to Jules there a little bit. Saying no to someone makes you feel so bad, like, oh my gosh, I could never do that, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm saying no for her.
Yeah, you step in. Yeah.
Give me the phone.
Yeah, boom. Yeah, and I've got a really good friend of mine, actually. She's training to be a counselor. And so we have all of these incredible conversations. And she's always, not always, but she does say to me, no is a complete sentence. You can say no. And I'm like, yeah, I'm working on it. So I've come a long way. But the reason I'm sharing that is, if you're someone who's listening to this podcast and you feel that you have to be a healer or be part of someone's healing journey, amazing. But you don't have to be part of everyone's healing journey. You can be mindful about where you spend your energy,
Of
because you've only got
course.
so much.
Yes, definitely. You have to be really picky with your environment, especially when you get more sensitive to energies, because that can make or break you. The
Yeah,
people you surround yourself with, yeah.
yeah,
The human energy field is so big, way bigger than we think it is. And it really affects your energy as well if you surround yourself with negative people.
yeah. And we know it, right? Intuitively, we know it.
Yeah,
Um,
we can
you talk,
sense it.
you can sense it, and so maybe listen to your body more, listen to your
Mhm.
internal more. Um, and maybe if you can't, or you feel that's a struggle, maybe do the inner work to go, okay, what do I feel? Let me do some journaling. Let me do some affirmations. Let me go to a therapist. Let me get a coach. All those things. And once you
Exactly.
start to understand yourself more, you'll trust yourself more. And when you trust yourself more, you can really lean on that intuition. I would throw into the mix, this is celebrating femininity here. I think, generally speaking, I think the feminine leads in that area really well. I think you have a good sense of intuition, whereas I think in the masculine, not so much. But maybe that's by design. Maybe that helps us to be protectors and providers and things. But
Yeah,
it's an interesting balance. Yeah.
I really think that's by design, so we can complement each other with different strength that we have. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about, firstly, what you do as a practitioner, and then a little bit about the retreat itself?
Yes, of course. So you probably heard all about what Julia does. She's amazing. Me personally, I do sound healing,
Hmm.
I do somatic touch, and I do guided meditations. I usually do a combination of these three things, but
Hmm.
in the retreat, the schedule is going to be so broad. We're going to just offer so many modalities. We studied so much. We have so many certifications, and we just want to incorporate all of that into that week-long retreat. I think it's going to be so beneficial, especially for people who can never switch off, the
Hmm.
overachievers, the people who are burned out, the people with anxiety or depression. This will be the perfect getaway for them to really disconnect from the world and reconnect with themselves again. And then we're also going to have morning movement sessions, yoga and Pilates, and the villa itself, the retreat center in Portugal, is so beautiful. It's in the middle, like Mediterranean landscapes, off grid. It has a natural, chemical free pool,
Mm.
amazing, nourishing food that is locally sourced and prepared by the amazing chef. So it's just going to be a week of nourishing your body and your soul, basically.
What got you to doing what you were doing as individuals, and then coming together to put on this retreat? What was the journey?
Well, obviously, we learned these modalities in the first place for ourselves, to heal ourselves with our different chronic issues that we have, and to dive deeper into spirituality as well. And then we started to host little moon circles here in Bali to every new moon and every full moon. And it was just a small group of women. And then when we got the feedback from that, we really saw that this kind of community is so needed, and that it is actually such a profound work. We just thought we're just going to give them a little bit of a taste of the modalities that we do, but people were crying tears of happiness that we help them so much. I've heard in one of my guided meditations, someone told me they've never experienced such a level of safety in their lives.
Mm.
So I was just like, wow. And we were talking about it after, and we were like, we need to offer this to people on a bigger scale. We should maybe host a retreat.
Amazing. And if people wanted to hear more about it or learn more about all the details, where would they go?
They can just text us either on Instagram or over WhatsApp, and then we would be happy to have a call with them to explain any more details or open questions.
Fantastic. And your handle is sacred.
Sacred.emotions.
Fantastic. I'll put a little graphic on the screen now if you're watching on
Thank
YouTube,
you.
or
Amazing.
if you're on Jean's favorite platform of Spotify or mine of Apple, then if you jump over to, and I'm developing this is quite new actually, on my website, so goencourage.com, I'm doing a little page for each episode, which will also have links to things that we've talked about, so you can go across there as well if you'd like. For people who don't know about the three things that you talked about in terms of modality, sound bowls, sound healing, somatic touch, and what was the third one,
Guided meditations.
Guided meditation. Could you explain what each of those things are, just for someone who's brand new to it, not quite sure what's going on?
Okay, I'll try to explain it in very simple words.
Okay.
So as we talked about earlier, everything is frequency, right? And our body has its own frequency, and that can be a little bit dysregulated or chaotic sometimes. And then we do have these different chakras. Probably everyone has heard about chakras before, right? And then there is 7 different bowls. I mean, there's 2 systems, but I won't go too deep into that because that's too complicated. But there's chakra bowls. For example, there's 7 chakra bowls for each chakra, and they exactly match the frequency of that chakra to align it and bring it into balance. And then you can work with these bowls either in a private one-on-one session on the body of the client or around the body. And when you put water into a sound bowl and you ring it, then you can see the water like forming these bubbles and like sparkling a little bit. And this is basically what happens inside of the body, because the body is made 80% out of water, right? And you can imagine what happens in like a pond or like a still water when you drop something in and there's these circles forming. So this is basically the vibration that's what sound does. And this is happening inside of our bodies to really get it back into balance and activate the state of the body, the relax and digest state. And this is why, especially in private sessions, almost everyone falls asleep during a sound healing session.
I did. I fell asleep. I felt so bad afterwards, and it was like, no,
don't
it's
feel bad.
natural. Yeah.
This is what needs to happen, because especially for people who are always so on and are always in this like fight or flight state, it really forces the body into the relaxed state. Even if you cannot do it, like you need maybe melatonin to sleep, or you need to have this like elaborate sleep routine to even like be able to close your eyes and fall asleep. This will literally force your body into that relaxed state, and this is why you fall asleep so fast.
Right.
And then there's these like special chakra bowls, but that's a bit more complicated what they do. But
That makes a lot of
sound
sense.
healing.
Yeah. And then somatic touch.
Somatic touch. Yeah, this is what I combine with sound healing. You can also do it on its own, but I tend to combine it because some people tend to have emotions come up during sessions, especially because I work a lot with the heart bowl. A lot of people have a blocked heart chakra, and when I place the bowl on the heart, a lot of emotions tend to come up. Some people start to cry, and then I push these certain somatic touch points in the body to help release these emotions. So somatic touch is basically certain points in the body that you can gently, or sometimes also a little bit with some pressure, touch to release stuck emotions that are just stuck in the body, basically, that are just not coming out because of XYZ reason. So yeah, you can somatically release them with this. And then I also like to combine this with a guided meditation, because
Yeah.
a lot of people have problems with meditating. They cannot switch off their mind and just think of nothing or think of a specific thing and get all these thoughts in their head. And that's why I think guided meditations are very powerful, especially for beginners, because you're literally guiding the person where you want them to be, to a safe space or back to their childhood. Hugging their inner child. There's different kinds of guided meditations, but yeah, combined with sound healing and somatic touch, they can be even more powerful.
Yeah, it sounds like they fit so well together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think I'd like to say, I've had some experience with them. And with guided meditation, if you're an overthinker naturally, it just allows your brain to focus on whatever the practitioner is talking about or guiding you through. And even with the journal, my one's got guided prompts as well. So if you have a blank page, sometimes it's really difficult to know where to start. Whereas with guides and prompts and things like that, again, it just allows some focus, doesn't it? So yeah,
Exactly.
makes a lot of sense.
That's what it is.
Amazing. Wow. And do you love what you do? You can't say no, can you? Imagine you said, no, I don't like it. Sorry, you were going to say something there? I heard a little inhale.
Yeah, I just wanted to say we can also do a little code for you. Go Encourage code to get some discount on our retreat if they book with your code.
So if you missed that because you're jogging while you're listening to this podcast, or you were not concentrating while you're driving, if you use Go Encourage as a code, you're going to get a little discount. So make sure you use that, okay? Yay, Go Encourage privilege. I love it. VIP. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I'd love to have you back again. I am looking in the future, maybe a year down the line, of doing some episodes that are specifically focused on spirituality.
Nice.
So it'd be cool. That. It'd be so good to have you on. I'm thinking about maybe having a panel and things like that. So some exciting things there. But yeah, I'd love to have you back. So yeah, glad you're on board. I'll get you a copy of the Courage Journal one way or another. We'll work it out between ourselves. But
we're going to be in Germany soon, so then we can work that out.
Perfect. I'll send you a link. And if you're listening to this podcast, I'll put a link in the bottom here as well, so you can grab a copy of the journal. But genuinely, I'd love to hear your feedback and if it's helped you in any way. And of course, as one professional to another, if you think it needs some tweaking, I'm open to listening to what you might have to say about it.
I will give you my honest and direct Sagittarius opinion.
Yes, Saggy power all the way. Fantastic. All right. Well, like I said, really, real pleasure and honor to have you on the podcast today. Thank you for coming.
Likewise.
Fantastic. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, if there's been something in this conversation that you found really interesting, you have some questions around it, you want to talk openly and publicly, the comments box is always open. But if you'd like to, most people actually reach out on a DM. You can DM me at Go Encourage on Instagram, and you can DM Jean at sacred.emotions on Instagram as well, and we'll be happy to continue the conversation with you. All right. As always, our message is to keep moving forward and to go encourage. I'll see you on the next episode. But for now, we're saying goodbye to Jean in Bali. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, really hope you enjoyed that episode, and I hope there was something there that you can take away and reflect on. If you'd like to continue the conversation, you can do so publicly on YouTube via the comments, or if you prefer to be more private, you can DM me on Instagram, and the handle is at Go Encourage. You can also find links to everything at the website, which is www.goencourage.com. You can find a copy of the Courage Journal, links to TikTok, Instagram, and all the places that you can find Go Encourage online. You can also have a look at the upcoming Go Encourage blog, which is coming soon. So yeah, definitely do check that out. But my encouragement to you is whatever you're doing, whatever you're going through, keep moving forward and to go encourage. I'll see you on the next episode.